Welcome back everyone, thanks for joining in today, and we're going to look at this software that I've got right here now, which is Dehancer. And it's the Dehancer film plugin that I'm interested in, that I've had a look at. I was allowed access to this software. It's on a trial at the moment, but I was given this to have a review basically and have a play with it. And I've got to be honest, I sort of put it off. I didn't want to look at it. And I left it, and over Christmas I had a little play with it, which was quite nice. And then my trial ran out, so I just ignored it, and then they got back in touch, and I got another trial for another month to have a look at it. And the reason I put it off is because I didn't think I wanted to do anything different with my photos. I'd got a sort of style that I liked. But over the Christmas period, I went and did a lot of street photography around our local area, and I was getting a little bit bored. I'd got into the black and white that I could get out the camera, and I wanted something slightly different. And that's when I went and had a look back at this software. So let's have a look at this now. You can get it for Photoshop, Lightroom, etc. into there. So you've got all the different things. You've got Affinity in there as well. What we got? Capture One, that's in there as well, which is great. And basically, it adds traditional film stock style processing to your digital images, which is pretty decent in all fairness. And there's a lot out there in presets and everything else. And the thing that was putting me off on this was the price. I'm not going to lie, $199 for 2 seats. It's not a license that you have to renew each year, it's just a one-off price. That I really appreciate. I'm getting a little bit sick of this subscription model. It's not sustainable in terms of forking out all the time, every single month, and I've cut quite back on a lot of stuff. So that's actually a real big plus point. Looking at the different bits now, total in here says 63 film profiles, which is really nice, and I almost wish I didn't have the choice, but we'll come to that in a minute. Obviously some featured reviews onto there, and that's it. So you can download and get a free trial of this yourself and see what you think. But this is something I've looked at. Now they have got an iPhone app version as well, which you can download on the App Store and see for yourself. I'm predominantly interested in the Lightroom thing. So if we go into Lightroom, that was a photo that I took. Ignore the fact that I've vignetted around on my camera lens in the top, or I think it's my glove or something. It was snowing at the time. I was just trying to protect the lens from the shot, from the snow. And that's with one of the film processes. I really like what it did with that. Now, if we go back into that and let's go and edit in Dehancer. So it's just a plugin. So I'm going to edit a copy with Lightroom adjustments. Perfect, exactly what I'm after. It's going to load it up here. Let's just make that full screen. And we can see down here, we have got absolutely tons of different films. And we can go and choose one. Choose one that we like, the look of. It's getting back to that old school. Everyone's into a bit of retro, or, I mean, even I am. I've got the Nikon ZFC camera. I want a bit of retro, and I sort of want that in my photography as well. And this actually gives it to me, quite annoyingly. I say quite annoyingly because I don't want to have to pay $199 for it. But it does give it to me. One of the questions that I had in my head was, whatever this particularly can do, I can sort of replicate in Lightroom, in all fairness. And I've been playing around with that and having a little look at it. My question was it sustainable? Yes, I could match a shot up and make it look similar. But then if I did another one, was it going to apply the same processes to that and make it look similar? So we'll test that in a bit and see if that's the case. But this is a separate program rather than having it sort of built in as a template or presets within Lightroom. So there we go, that's the original. That was the preset I applied there, and you can see a little graph at the bottom here in what it's doing. We can see the grain. We've got options down here to change stuff ourselves and do it. And you can see as you change this, the grain and everything else that's in that is recalculating and rechanging. So it's sort of working on the fly live as opposed to just applying something over the top, which I think is quite nice. Let's have a look what else we got down here. So you can choose what type of print paper you want to use it on, the exposure for that. It's got a lot of flexibility for editing to your own heart's content. I'm sure you can make your own papers up. I am not skilled enough to do that. I don't want to go through that. I'm a lazy photographer. I like to take stuff in camera. But that being said, I do want to do something different, and I think that's where it comes in. Okay, one of the options I found in here that I quite like as well, and all these settings down here, and I'm not going to cover all of these settings and go through them. There's probably other videos that teach you all of that, but the one thing that I did quite like was bloom. So I quite often use Pro Mist filters on my camera because I like the halo effect it gives around highlights. And this sort of does that for you as well. And you've got loads of options to change it, and it just gives that extra little punch. Yeah, this is probably a good example. This is back to the original, which was in graphite mode on the thing. So if you look at the wheel that we've got here, when I click that, it just makes it pop. It's almost like the light's just bouncing off it. And those little touches to your photographs make a big, big difference. So that's quite nice onto there. My question is if I take that and I edit up this photo to match this one, can I then just copy that to another one and will it look the same? That's the question. So let's have a little look at that, and let's be in develop mode. We're going to have compare. That's our reference shot. Let's get rid of everything out of here. Let's bring this in actually. So let's see if we can make this look similar. And one of the things you'll notice is that we lose that ability to see it as digital with this app. We lose the harsh edges on everything, which I blooming well hate in digital. I mean, I love it commercially, it's fantastic, that's what I need. But in my own stuff, I don't want that. I want a bit more looseness in everything. So I'm going to drop the sharpening back down. We're going to add a bit of grain back in, or a lot of grain in this, in all fairness. And put the roughness up. Still not anywhere near what we've got on that, is it? That's getting there slightly. Let's go back up and have a look. Contrast. Take those whites up a little bit. So what we're noticing is where we're getting via the plugin grain in the white areas, we're not getting grain in the white areas on the digital version. But that's about as close as I'm going to get it between those two, I think, which is not too bad. So let's go and pick another shot, copy the settings off this, and let's drop that into there. Let's apply them. Yeah, not quite the same. Again, noise in that bit, but it's not consistent. I've lost the noise in the highlighted areas, which is fair enough, I understand that. But everything else actually is not too dissimilar. I'm just going to put this back to how it was shot. Camera standard. So we've got all the colour into there as well. So as you can see, pasting that onto the colour version does nothing for me whatsoever. Doesn't work, doesn't translate across brilliantly. It was something I needed to look at to see if it was a feasibility. But what that plugin does really, really well, it takes this digital, really sharp, crystal image and turns it into a soft, beautiful film, something you can look at, something you can feel and just fall into. And I didn't think I was going to like it. I'm really annoyed. And I'm annoyed because of the cost. But yeah. So yeah, you have to do it single image. You're not going to do multiples. Which, is that a problem? It depends how much you care about your final output, doesn't it? And how much effort you put into it. If you're just trying to do a whole bunch of images and just apply a style and put it out there and that'll be done with it. If you're trying to be unique on every image, then I don't think it's an issue in the slightest. I tend to like to do a body of work all in the same style. So even if one image it doesn't quite sit, I would still want it in that same style because I believe in the body of work. Conclusion. In terms of the desktop app, it's on there. $200 for the program itself. Yeah, I could justify that as a professional photographer. And I could justify it in terms of it adds a different style. And you've got to work out if that fits for you. You've seen what we can create onto there. The portraits I hadn't thought of before, but actually I think that would work really, really well. Beautiful style. You've got to find something you like and then make the most of it and build that into your workflow. In terms of my commercial work, it's not something I'd use because we want clean, crisp images. That's just where we're at in the marketplace. So I couldn't use it commercially, but to advertise my skills as a photographer and my style, actually I could use that. I publish loads of stuff which is not finished commercial work, it's more personal, and that's great and that works for me into that respect, and it's nice to have that flexibility, and paying a one-off price for something works for me as well. I don't think it would work if I had to pay monthly. I wouldn't do it in all fairness because I'd feel tied in. It's a bit like the Adobe subscription. You feel tied in that you've got to use it. In all fairness, no one's coming close to Adobe yet. One day, maybe. So yeah, it'd be interesting to see what the uptake is like on this Dehancer and how it goes and how it develops over the years as well. So yeah, go and have a little play for yourself. Download it as a free trial. You can click the link down below. I think there's a discount on the link down below if you want to get it as well, which I think is quite nice. So yeah, have a little look. Hope you enjoyed that. Thanks for watching.